on, brethren. Most High in Christ bless.
Hey, fringes don't belong on a t-shirt, Doc.
What? Jealous much?
Them Twitter fingers, nigga. Boss that nigga, man. Get your shit together, man. I'm overrated. So overrated. Overrated. So overrated, nigga. Coming on this bitch real fresh, bulletproof, high shoot, bitch, you better wear your vest. She try to get something off her chest, but the drip on her head made a mess. I'm a real piece of profit on this one, but nighttime sheet, I'm a beast. I'm like, here.
The Lord's 56th annual Passover under Commander Junior Hunter. Make sure y'all be there, man. This is the only Passover ordained by the Lord. Shalom.
Tonight it's a rock, got a show, live show, and a nigga still indie.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one west. They're one west. They're one west. They're one.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
According to God, the white man is the devil.
See, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above when they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white man. Need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that. Let bygone be. Boy, your ass need to stop it. Ass shit and prophets. It's about to get serious. Go ahead. When they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. Oh, he cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I tell you once, won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed he up for parole because of the COVID. It feel like the host in this world that don't go together. Know it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settled. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets. You know, like we all come together. Cause you know, they say God so loved the world. God so loved the world, and know your ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, y'all, we don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets. One step, I'm solid for show. To the fake niggas, stay silent, I got it, let's go, let's go. I ain't taking no losses, ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just play with your own. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell him we can't keep it slate. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got your baby mother on high, got your baby pass through the fire. Ain't she the prophets? That baby so belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Devil will failure, bitch, I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Push your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist, to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass she the give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga.
Different, man. I'ma show them the difference.
I'ma show
show them it's a difference. I'ma only say this once, you better listen. When West is where it started, so you know that's where it finished. We got one main objective, nigga, let's complete the mission. We explaining what the who, lead them bitches in they feelings. Snub on me, only time I put my nose inside your business. I don't want my gun to show, so I wear my shirt bigger. This is our world, cause if this was your world, I'd be the villain. Break his whole block down, all I gotta do is bend and stuff in Mac shell drums. Turn your crib to Sunday dinner. You don't live here, you visit, this my shit, it's a difference. I don't do lean, Lobos in my cup is what I'm sipping. I don't do dreams, I just say a prayer, go and get it. And it all work out, you know this ain't for play, this ain't for fun. I've been destined for this shit, niggas know that I'm the one. This shit can go 100 yards, you would think I kicked a punt. You would think I had a flare gun on go, you niggas run. They like he an Israelite, all he rap about is guns. Bitch, I'm an Israelite that own a lot of guns. What that nigga said who? Tell him watch the grind. Yeah, you must be crazy if you ever think of stopping mine. Knock all of the chains out you niggas, make them drop a dime. This tour is whole 12, it is not a zodiac sign. Piss me off, get me in my bag, make me drop a bomb. Drop a nuke, make the world freeze, I can stop the time. Watch what you do, cause once you do it, you can't press rewind. On purpose, I do the opposite, so nigga cross the line. This is different, I ain't looking for trouble, but on point, case you think I rap. Turn him to a vegetable, lead this nigga cabbage patch. No new niggas with me, if you see him, then they got my back. Got it out the mud, big stepping, you can see the tracks, follow me. I could teach you something, have receive, relax. If you gon' speak on anything, just make sure it's fact. It's a difference, we are not the same, help them notice that. Pay attention, watch how we move, we can know we can't. Hang around all real niggas and we move as one. This ain't Fortnite, get into it, ain't no 1v1. The smoke I bring to you, you can't take it in with your lung. Life about warfare, we just make it look fun. She asked what kind of oil I got on, I told her give them some. When West the only real niggas left, you better get you one. Chicken shop, giving out wings if I pull a drum. It's a difference, you better watch your words before you eat your tongue. Scrape the whole plate, not a trace nor leave a crumb. Ice falling off the watch and chain like it's freezer burn. Daring somebody to say my name, I will eat for him. Loyalty means everything, so I don't eat with them.
Live from Radio City Music Hall, it's the SNL 50 Homecoming Concert featuring performances by Arcade Fire, the B-52, Backstreet Boys.
Fuck wrong with you, boy? You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my nigga. Yeah. A minute, yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding general, your honor. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home, that's what my ribs. But bitch, I'm grown, I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my hock, I'm gon' let him have it. Hey, think you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talk this shit. Yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm rippin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start steppin'. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them, I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For I take your life or let you take mine. That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, the shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted, we hear the truth and reject nation we erecting. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shah Rocket Thumb, Yahweh Shema Thumb, by Shem Shah Precinct. Officer, I'm a Wanga Bar Tuesday night brotherhood class. ISUPK, Kentucky, under Commander Johanna since 1969, teaching the truth. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, the chosen people of God. Our oppressor is the devil Bible speaks of. First, I want to do is tell everybody pay your Passover fee, $200 for every adult, everybody 17 or older. Pay your tithes, ISUPK.com. And I want to clap it up for the trooper. Got the trooper in here with me. Most High in Christ. We're gonna rock out another class, brotherhood class. Tonight what we're gonna talk about is President's Day. Is that today? President's Day, is that today? Or was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
All right, kind of. Bet. So yeah, we're gonna talk about President's Day because first, what people gotta understand is President's Day is not it's not about all presidents. President's Day is about George Washington. You hear me? It's George Washington's birthday. Straight like that. Simple as that. Simple as plain as that. And that's most gods that you worship or that they worship in the past, they turned them into what we now call holidays. You feel me? And they just basically did it all again in America because the Americans, of course, is the children of the Romans and the Greeks. So they just took different people's birthday, prominent people birthdays, and they turned it, you feel me, into what they call a holiday for you to worship. Yeah, see, if I could, you go to that first article, how President's Day evolved from ABC Eyewitness News.
Come, sir. Norfolk, Virginia. Like the other founding fathers, George Washington was uneasy about the idea of public publicity celebrating his life. He was the first leader of the new republic, not a king.
Right. And so what people got to understand is they was trying to get from under the foot of the British, who had kings and queens and, you hear me, princes and princess, all that stuff. He was trying, George Washington them and the founding fathers of America was trying to get from under that idea. That's why they came up with the Constitution, with the president can only run for 2 terms. And now Trump is trying to change that so he can be the supreme leader for the rest of, I guess, his life or something. I don't know. But they did that for a reason because they was trying to get from the way the British ran things, because the British was not a democracy. It was a dictatorship.
And yet, the United States will once again commemorate its first president on Monday.
Right. All right. So yeah, you could drop down to where is that at? Washington's birthday was celebrated sometimes, right? Because what you gotta understand is he didn't want to celebrate his birthday. The thing that they did with making his birthday a national holiday for all presidents was just trying to bring back a Roman and Greek culture of worshiping gods and idols and stuff like that. That was the whole point. That's because he didn't even want to do it. He didn't want no parts of it.
Washington was born February 22nd, 1732, on Post Creek Plantation near the Pontiac River in Virginia. Technically, he was born February 11th under the ancient Julia UN calendar, which was still in use for the first 20 years of his life.
Right. So if you want to be technical, the 17th of February is not even, you feel me, his birthday. It's the 11th. You feel me? That's what I say. They all over the place, but they trying to do the best they could to keep their Roman and Greek culture, which is worshiping gods, and of course because Black people and Hispanics and Native Indians is slaves in America, is held hostage in this cage, this prison we living in. Boom, they pushing it on us. They pushing it on us to where now we worshiping these idols and stuff like that.
The Gregorian calendar, intended to more accurately mark the solar year, was adopted in 1752, adding 11 days. Either way, Washington paid a little attention to his birthday. According to MountVernon.org, the website of the organization that managed his estate, surviving records make no mention of observance at Mount Vernon.
All right, okay. So you could drop that and drop down to making it official with parades and festivals. So now we know that George Washington, he did not approve of his birthday becoming a national holiday. You feel me? He did not approve of that. So why would they still do it anyway? Why would these people like do it anyway? It's because they don't really care about what he think. You feel me? They care about keeping their Roman and Greek customs. You feel me? Keeping their Roman and Greek customs to where now we got in 2025, we have a new president that's trying to get rid of the Constitution. He's trying to get rid of amendments. Amendment is supposed to be something that they set in stone that you are not supposed to be able to change. They did that back in 1776 or whatever. You was not supposed to be able to change these amendments, but now they're doing it because they're getting back into their Roman and their Greek customs, which is worshiping gods, idols, having a dictator, having a Caesar. They're getting back to that.
It wasn't until 1832, the centennial of his birth, the Congress established a committee to arrange national parades, orations, and festivals.
Right. So basically 100 years later after he died, he was turned into a god. Just like all the gods you worship, Valentine's Day. Those are idols. Those were men. You feel me? Men created those men. If they wasn't an actual person, a man created it. It was a fable. It was a folklore. It was a wise tale that they just created, and they made it. You know how they made it alive? By just lying about it, lying about the story, about the history of Cupid and whatever else. The lies being told for years and years, it turned this folklore into a god. Well, they start to really believe it, and then times pass. You got people worshiping it. Hundreds of years later, people still worshiping it.
Only in 1879 was his birthday formally made into a legal holiday for federal employees in the District of Columbia.
Right. And at first, it was only for the people that work in Washington, D.C., in the District of Columbia. It wasn't even for everybody at one point. You feel me? But yeah, so you could drop that and go to that last article. What is that? FNP.com.
FNP.com. All right. When did the birthday tradition start? We live under the misconception that birthday celebrations are a fairly recent convention. In reality, this is far from the truth. Read on to find out how and why the birthday tradition originated.
Right. So this is like what you gotta understand about like powers worshiping and stuff like that. It could be something as simple as your birthday. You feel me? You may not understand that. You may not feel like, you know, George Washington's birthday being a national holiday is a big deal. You feel me? When it's blasphemy. You feel me? It's blasphemy to turn they turned him into a guy he didn't even want to be. They turned him into a god. When they made George Washington's birthday a national federal holiday, you feel me? They basically turned him into a god when all he was the first president of the United States. That's all he was. He was the first president. You go ahead.
Most of us are aware of the pagans, the original settlers, who had their own set of gods and beliefs.
Right, and that's what you got to understand. Everything goes back to some pagan belief. What's pagan? Pagan is man-made. That's pagan. Pagan is something that's man-made, just like this was man-made, even though he didn't want to even celebrate his birthday.
Well, history suggests that birthday celebrations are originated by the pagans, organized by the pagans. So like, they believe that evil spirits got their chance to possess a soul when it went through a major change.
Right, hold on, wait. You see what I'm saying? This is not our culture. It's not our customs to celebrate birthdays, and this is why. This is what people believe. People believe that an evil spirit. It didn't say the Holy Spirit, the one that went into Mary. That ain't what it say. It say evil spirits got the chance to possess a soul when it went through that change. When you grew up, when you aged a year, they said evil spirits. This was what the pagans believed. This is what all these people that made these holidays and these fake gods that you worship, that's what they believe about birthdays.
Like when they turned a year older. And the celebrations were a ritual to ward off these spirits.
Now you wonder why you got to cut the lights out and blow out candles and stuff. You feel me? Now you see the tradition. It's harmless to you. You hear me? Your woman, she want to argue with you about it. Your mama, your aunties. It's always really women. You feel me? Because it's just a childish to celebrate your birthday is so childish. It's such a childish thing to do. And women, we know women is nothing but big ass kids. We know that for a fact. So it ain't really too much of the men that's gonna argue with you about it. It's more so the women. When the whole time, this is serious. This is what they believed about birthday. The people that invented birthdays, this is what they believed. This was their whole point. Had nothing to do with your dirty 30. It had nothing to do with that.
Right.
It had to do with a custom that they believed about evil spirits.
It is from here that the custom of blowing out candles on a birthday developed because the candles were seen as a beacon of light regarding the soul against demons.
Right. And this is we broke this down last year. I did a little I got a little segment I do called Juno Greek to break down like Greek traditions that we do today and stuff like that we don't even know it come from the Greeks. But I forgot the name of the god, but it's a god that they worship. And that's where they got the candles from the Greeks. It's a god that they worship, and that's where they got the birthday candles from. It started with the Greeks.
It's specifically because of these pagan origins that ancient Christians refused to celebrate birthdays.
Right. And ancient Christians. You know why I say the ancient Christians? Because it's not talking about the Creflo Dollar, Eddie Long. It ain't talking about the sellouts. It ain't talking about the sellouts. It's talking about the brothers that was getting murdered by the Romans and the Pharisees and all them. You feel me? They held on to the truth that Christ taught them. That's the ancient Christian. They did not celebrate birthdays. They refused to.
We can credit that we can credit the entire concept of partying to the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
When a pharaoh was crowned, he was believed to have turned into a god
Right.
to
So,
celebrate.
and if I could, they the ones that invented birthdays. It started with the I don't want to say the Egyptians, but it was the African. I think it was another group of Africans that had a kingdom. I think it's the Mesopotamian. It wasn't the Egyptians though. The Egyptians got it from them. Like this go back. This is old. Like real talk. This is really, really old. But it was the Africans though. They started the birthday celebration. The Egyptians, the ones that blew it up. You hear me? They the ones blew it up. Like Michael Jordan. You feel me? You think of basketball. You know, Michael Jordan didn't invent basketball, but he blew it up. Like something like that.
Right. Turned into a god to celebrate this transformation. A banquet was arranged, and festivities of epic proportions broke out throughout the land.
Right, but to understand this, first black people got to understand that they not African. You feel me?
Awesome.
You know that's the first thing black people got to understand, that you're not an African. You don't look like them. You don't cook your food like them. You don't smell like them. They don't like you, and we don't like them. Like real talk. That's not our culture. That's their culture. You feel me? That's something that they did. Because it's a lot of black people that think they African, so they feel like this. They should even go harder, knowing that Africans invented birthdays. You're not an African, first of all. You were what they would call the early Christians. You feel me? Now the Christian name has been tainted, so when you think of Christian, you think of child molestation. You feel me? You think of whores running up and down the aisle doing with the Holy Ghost. But that wasn't the ancient Christians. The ancient Christians was followers of Christ. They kept the law. They didn't celebrate pagan holidays, and they didn't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster.
It could also be the first turns of future birthday parties, since technically I lost Slucky. Hold on.
I used to matter of fact, you could drop that because that was the whole point of that. You could drop that, and you can go to Exodus 1 and 8. You could drop that because that was the whole point. We ain't really need to read all that anyway. That was the whole point of that was, where did it come from? It came from the Egyptians, the Africans really. It came from a group of Africans, and the Egyptians got it from them. Then the Greeks and the Romans took it from them, and now the Americans took it. It just get passed from kingdom to kingdom. You feel me? All these different holidays, these different traditions, it get passed from kingdom to kingdom, and we got to step away from it. We got to be like them early Christians that they wasn't with that. You feel me? The early Christians was not with that, and that was only right, because that means you're a true follower of Christ when you're going against, feel me, what the kingdom is telling you to do versus what God say to do. But yeah, you could start in Exodus 1 and 8.
Start out of time. The book of Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Right. So yeah, and that's what happened. We went into Egypt 70 deep. We became a mighty, exceeding nation. To where they wasn't feeling us no more. You know? They wasn't feeling us no more. They just like now. They don't really care about all that civil rights stuff. You know, all that Martin Luther King, all that. They don't really care too much about that. You feel me? It's a new king over Egypt. Egypt just means bondage, slavery. You feel me? Which knew not Joseph, and Joseph was what you would say, he was our leader at the time. You feel me? Joseph was like our unofficial leader, because everybody was about to die, and he saved Egypt and became the second in command in Egypt, and he brought his family into Egypt, and we became an exceeding mighty nation. So he had a covenant basically with the Pharaoh. You feel me? And this new Pharaoh, he ain't really feeling that covenant no more. You feel me? He ain't really feeling that all that civil rights stuff, all that DEI, all that stuff that Trump is throwing away. That's how that new Pharaoh was. He wasn't really feeling that stuff. Are we going all the way to 11?
Verse 19. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel. Well, Salaki, hold on. Why is it doing that? Sorry. Salaki, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Right, and that's a fact. And this happened time and time again. Time and time again, our slave masters, the people that are oppressors, they looked up one day and they realized that we are more and mightier than them. You feel me? I think the so-called white man is the only race of people who death rate is more than the birth rate, which don't make sense. You feel me? I mean, we can go in, that's a whole nother topic, but you know, that goes against the cycle of life. You feel me? The death rate and the birth rate is not supposed to be, you feel me, that off. But the so-called white man, his death and his birth rate is off. That's why he was trying to stop the abortion clinics. Even though he knew a lot of black babies was going to be saved and Hispanic babies, but he was trying to do something to stop his number from dwindling. Like real talk. So they know that the so-called white man know we are more and mightier than him, man. It's just the different tactics that he done is suppressing us so he can keep up because he don't like a fair fight. Because if the white man liked the fair fight, he would close all abortion clinics. He would do a war on drugs in every neighborhood. White, Chinese, yeah, Italian, whatever, whoever else. He'd get the drugs out of America completely so everybody can have a fair chance. But he can't because he need black people and Hispanics to be on drugs so we don't have a fair chance. You feel me?
Come. Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Right, and that's basically what I was talking about. Just all the different tactics that they done to oppress us. You feel me? Turning our women against us. Knowing the children are going to be out of control. All that stuff to cause chaos in our house, our community. Filling up the prisons with black and Hispanics. Overly policing the neighborhoods. You feel me? All that stuff. Stopping frisks. All these different tactics the so-called white man done. He got that from Egypt, man. He got that from every slave master that we ever had. Because this is what they done. Because they knew that we was better. They knew we was better and we having more babies because we actually love women. Let's start there. Because we actually love women. These oppressors, they are naturally born homosexuals. They don't give a damn about no women. If you look up some of that stuff about Alexander the Greek, man, they said they use women for reproducing. They said that's all women was for. I'm like, well, goddamn. That explains everything. You feel me? That's why I say not knowing history, you would be kind of lost on stuff. Be wondering why stuff is happening. You feel me? That's why when I found the truth, man, I fell in love with the truth. You feel me? Because it started making everything make sense that questions I had, all of them was getting answered. All the little missing spaces I had in my head, like, man, what all this stuff is missing, they was just filling in the puzzle. You feel me? They were just filling in the puzzles in my head. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. All that's making sense, though.
Sir. Lest they multiplied, and it came to pass that when the falleth out any war, they join also unto their outer enemies.
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. That's why they had to oppress us the way they did, so we could never ever want to leave. Why they keep talking about they get out if you don't want to stay here, man. These white folks are so tricky, man. They know that they're not letting you go, but they will tell you too. So now you can't complain. They're going to tell you to leave. So when you choose not to, now you can't complain. Knowing if you try to leave, you ain't going to be able to stay. Because when you get over there, guess what's going to happen? Your visa going to expire. Your visa going to expire, and you're going to have to come back. You're going to do something, commit a crime or do something, and then now you got to come back. Like real talk.
And fight against us. And so get them up out of the land.
Right. Get them out of the land. That's what I'm saying. That's deportation. You feel me? Mass incarceration. All that stuff. They came up with so many tactics to try to make sure we stay beneath them, man. So many tactics. George Washington was one of the biggest devils in history, man. He was a slave owner. He ain't nothing to be damn worshiped, man. He was the first president of the biggest, most evilest kingdom in the history of this planet. Like real talk.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with the burdens.
Right, and they did. They set over us taskmasters. Somebody always making sure we working. You feel me? It's some white person that's a little lesser than the person that owns the company, and they always making sure we working. Always making sure we doing something 7 days a week, 6 days a week, overtime. You hear me? They always making sure we working. A lot of that stuff they have you doing so you don't never try to get out of your situation. You hear me? It ain't always about the company. These companies are billionaires, Fortune 500 companies all everywhere you look. You hear me? These corporations you working for, telling you gotta work overtime. This stuff is for a reason. It's you never worrying about how to get out of your situation. UPS, FedEx, Walmart, all these stores that people working at, all this extra overtime they gotta do. And these stores, you can work there for 3 days a week and they still gonna be rich.
Mm-hmm.
All this working is so you don't think about your poverty. So now you ain't trying to get out of it.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities. So like what's it? Python, and Ramses.
Yeah, Python and Ramesses. And that's a fact. And that's what we did, and we doing it now. I mean, you could look it up. The Native Indians and the Hispanics built the skyscrapers. You hear me? We built treasure cities right here in America. Chicago, New York, Miami, LA. You hear me? Washington, D.C. A black man designed Washington, D.C., Benjamin Banneker. You hear me? We do this. We live in these scriptures all over again. Real talk. So you could drop that and you can go to Exodus 20:2.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord, thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Right. So, and this the Lord, he got to say it like this because we keep forgetting. You hear me? We keep forgetting how we going to get out of the condition we in. How we going to get out of it is thy Lord, thy God. You hear me? That's how. You feel me? A lot of these people, they got gods they worship. You feel me? Little statues, little Buddha statues in a Chinese restaurant. That stuff is fake. You know, the Buddha was a real person. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. He was an East Indian. He wasn't even Chinese. He was East Indian. You feel me? He was a rich East Indian, and he wanted to make himself poor so he can go around the world teaching peace. Some bullshit.
So like
the whole point, yeah, go ahead.
Buddha's not Chinese.
No, he's not Chinese. He's East Indian.
Oh
You
man,
can look it up. It's a man. Buddha is a man. His name is Siddhartha Gautama.
Oh man,
He's a man. He's not Chinese. He's East Indian. You feel me?
I did
He's
not
East
know that.
Indian. And it's funny, the East Indians, they don't even, most of them is Muslims. You hear me? A lot of them is Muslim. They not even Buddhists. Some of them are, but a lot of them is Muslims. But yeah, the Chinese took over that religion, and that's one of the biggest religions in China and all that stuff. But yeah, that's a fact. But you know they right on the border of each other. East India and China is right on the border too, though. Hell yeah. But yeah, though, all these guys is nothing. They people that walk the earth, they made famous, and they worship like they did George Washington. Made his birthday a national holiday 100 years after he died. You feel me? And that's all that happened. The pharaohs in Egypt, all them different gods and stuff they worship in Egypt was men. They was men, just regular men like me and you, that they worship. But we have a real God that created the planet and earth, and he the one that's gonna save us every time. But we keep forgetting.
Out of the house of bondage.
Right. Egypt, that's what I'm saying. The name of Egypt was Mizraim. That was the name of Egypt. It was Mizraim, but the Greeks named it Egypt because it was famous for the slavery. And Egypt just means bondage. It's like we're going all the way to 5.
Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Right. Thou shalt have no other God before me. And that's what I'm saying. When you see that, because of the Christians, you think of something mystical. You hear me? You think of something so mystical, like with all the TV shows, it's throwing you off. It's throwing you off. When he said no other gods before me, he's talking about men. He's talking about men. He's talking about people that you're going to listen to. There's going to be people that come to you and tell you the law is done away with. There's going to be people come to you to tell you to celebrate your birthday, to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate Valentine's Day. There's going to be people that tell you that the Bible is outdated, but you should read the Book of the Dead.
Right.
That's what he's talking about when he's saying no other gods before me. But because of the Christians, when you see that, you think because you go to church, you have no other gods before him. But what I'm telling you, if you go to church, you putting everything before God. You putting everything before God if you go to church. Like real talk. So yeah, the no other gods before me, he's talking about men. Men, because what are you going to do? These men are going to get turned into idols. Like we were just talking about with Buddha. Like real talk. White Jesus, that was a man. Muhammad, they keep telling you Allah. Man, Allah is Muhammad. That is a man. He made that shit up. He made Islam up. That did not come from God. That's man-made. You feel me? Like real talk. It's going to be men that's going to come and they're going to deceive you.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Turning these graven images. These is people making statues. All this stuff. The Lord did not want us doing none of that. Like real talk.
Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above.
Right. So that, like some people say, we wear a star. But what you got to understand, a star is a ball of gas. This is the shield of David. This is his name. You hear me? Which is a representation of who we are because he was the first king of Israel. The Lord loved David. Like real talk. And Christ is his great-great-great-grandson. So what it's talking about with the stuff in heaven above, it's like people worshiping the sun. People worshiping the moon. You hear me? It's people worshiping birds. They worshiping animals. You hear me?
or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it's people that's worshiping stuff in these, like these different animals and stuff. They believe these different animals bring this type of luck. These different plants, you feel me? They worshiping plants now, like Dr. Sebi. You feel me? You shouldn't do that. Because once you start turning these different things in the earth and in the heaven into an idol, you feel me? That's the beginning of sin right there. Once you start turning this stuff into an idol, that's the beginning of sin. Like real talk. Like we got lion pictures to represent the lion of the tribe of Judah.
Okay.
Feel me? But there's other people that's worshiping a lion. Feel me? Cutting the head, getting the head put in their house and stuff like that. Like real talk.
Or that is in the water under the earth.
Right. So, and that's all the Lord is trying to get us to not do what the Egyptians did. Because the Egyptians, a lot of the habits that we pick up, it come from our slave masters. It come from our oppressors. A lot of the stuff we do, we only doing it because they did it. You feel me? Just like in Egypt. In Egypt, the Moses is letting the children of Israel know what not to do. How did Moses know that this was something we would do? Because this is what they was doing in Egypt. In Egypt, they was worshiping the sun, worshiping the moon, worshiping animals. You feel me? They had all type of what was they called? The damn people that do the magic, magicians. They had all type of magicians and stuff. You feel me? That would be lying saying they doing magic with frogs' blood and stuff like that, and they not. You feel me? Like real talk. So Moses is trying to let us know, man, don't worship none of this stuff. We finna get out of here. This place is done. We ain't worshiping. We ain't doing none of that stuff we learned in there. That stuff is over with. And that's the same thing we telling blacks, Hispanics now. All this stuff you doing, you learned it here. You feel me? Like you proud of that? You proud of yourself? You proud of yourself doing what the slave master tell you to do. You sitting at home, you got a damn computer in your hand. Your cell phone is a computer. And instead of using it to compute, you're just using it to be on Instagram and Facebook all day.
Right.
And that's what they want. That's how they want us, because that's what they said they was gonna do. They was gonna deal wisely with us. You feel me? They was gonna deal wisely with us to try to destroy us, man. To have our mind focused on something else instead of the truth.
Right. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy God, I am a jealous God.
Right. The Lord say he a jealous God, as he should be. Because he chose us to rule the planet, and we chose to pick to worship men and bow down to men. Jamie Foxx, he called Barack Obama our Lord and Savior. When Barack Obama won, he said, "Oh Lord Jesus, our Lord and Savior." That's what he said about Barack Obama. And then 100 years from now, Barack Obama is going to be a god if Christ don't come back. He's going to be a god. They're going to somehow find a way to turn him into a god because he was the first melanated president in the United States. That he must have did something special to become the president.
Visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Right. So first, you got to understand that you serving these other gods, it can cause generational curses. And then you wonder why we can't build no generational wealth. You feel me? Because you started this trend. You started this tradition, and the Lord is trying to weed that out. He trying to weed it out so hard that he's coming after your children's children. He putting your children's children in poverty. Because what you got to understand, And like I said, I'm probably have to say this a lot in this class. I ain't gonna lie, because you're gonna have to, go learn that on your own time. But reincarnation, is in the Bible, and it is true. You are reincarnated back into this earth through your children. So that's the reason why he's coming after your children's children through the third and fourth generation, because he's looking for you. He's looking for you all over again. For when you come back, you finna reap the benefits of starting these evil traditions in your family. For you out there thinking and celebrating birthdays and holidays and eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, you're gonna get away with it. That ain't what the Bible say. The Bible say the Lord coming after you through the third and fourth generation, all the way to the third and fourth generation, because you want to celebrate a birthday. He coming after your children's children, like real talk. And then it say for them that hate me. So if you celebrating birthdays, you hate God. If you're doing anything the Bible say don't do, you hate God. And it's just that simple. You hear me? It's just that simple. But you can't look at it like that, because of course you think you do everything right. You think everybody else is wrong, but you right. Like real talk. But what I'm telling you is, if you're not listening to what the Bible say to do, you hate God. And he coming after your children's children for it. So ain't no generational wealth. It's going to be generational curses. Like real talk.
Verse 6.
Right, so you could drop that. You could drop that and go to where we at with it? Let's go to Jeremiah. Go into Apocrypha. Go to 2 Maccabees 6 and 6.
The book of 2 Maccabees, verse 6, and chapter 6 and verse 6. Neither was it unlawful.
We're going all the way to 9. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Oh, okay. Neither was it unlawful for a man to keep Sabbath day or ancient feasts.
Right. So during the time of the Greeks, it was not lawful. It was illegal to keep the Sabbath day. What's happening right now? Shit, we in Greece again. We in ancient Greece again. We in ancient Rome again. What's happening now? The Sabbath day was changed to Sunday. You feel me? Everything, you know how when you go outside on Christmas and nothing open, you can't even get a burger. That's how it's supposed to be every Sabbath day. But they changed that to Sunday. You feel me? They changed that to Sunday because it's not lawful no more to keep the Sabbath day. We got to worship the sun.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Now you see why that's the one religion that you can't say you is. You can be any religion. Matter of fact, you could be a goddamn woman if you say so. If you walk outside tomorrow, you can say you a goddamn woman. And it's a hate crime. That's why they mad at Trump. Trump stopping all that shit. You feel me? Like real talk. But that's what I'm saying. That's why that's the only religion that you can't say you is. If you do, you one of them black Hebrew Israelites. Now they got to make it derogatory.
Right.
That got to be a derogatory term. What they say? You stealing their identity and this and that. Like nigga, they stole our identity. They stole our identity. But if you profess yourself to be a Jew, that is basically illegal in America. It's illegal anywhere. You can be anything but a Jew. Like real talk.
Verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. Right.
So that's what I'm saying. The king's birthday come, they making you eat unlawful food. You hear me? You got to eat. They forcing you to eat pork. That's against our culture. You hear me? That's against our culture. They forcing you to do it. And when you don't want to do it, for some reason they seem like it's you doing something wrong. And I know this firsthand from the slave. Every time they order food or something at the slave, they always be like, damn, so why you don't eat pork again? They ask me that every time. Every time. It's like they trying to force me to eat it. Like real talk, we got to come in on a weekend or something, which is unlawful, but that's another topic. You hear me? Real talk. That's what I was saying about the Sabbath day, how they profane the Sabbath day. They making you work on Saturday. You supposed to be off chilling. You feel me? But that's a whole nother point. The point is that when they ordering food and stuff, it's pork. They put pork on everything. You don't want to eat it. They mad at you. They mad at you for not wanting to eat it. Like real talk.
And when the fast of Ruckus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to break carry evil.
Right. Carrying ivy. So yeah, so they making us celebrate their stuff. You feel me? They making us eat their stuff and celebrate their stuff, but it's illegal to be a Jew. You feel me? You go in there, go to your slave and say you don't celebrate Christmas. Oh man, look. It's a lock you. You're gonna have to turn that shit into camp. Like real talk. You're gonna have to get in camp mode. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I go through it every year. I'm not celebrating Christmas. Please stop trying to put my name in some hat. You don't want any gifts? I don't want nothing. You can keep your gifts. Give me my money that I came here to work for. That's what you could do. You could put a little extra on the check just because I'm an Israelite. But it's illegal to be a Jew right now in America, so they ain't going to do it. But they should if they know what's best for them. Like real talk.
Verse 8, moreover, went out to disgrace to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy.
Yeah, that's his name.
Against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions.
Right. So now they put out a decree to all the neighboring cities that Israelites is at and said to make them do the same thing. You feel me? Make it illegal to be a Jew and make them eat our food and celebrate our holidays. Real talk. And that's exactly what's happening in all the neighboring cities, everywhere in America, in England, in London, in Jamaica, in the Caribbean. You feel me? For people out there that hate Mexicans and hate the brothers that live in the Caribbean, talking about they got their own land. They ain't got shit. You know how you know? Because they celebrating Christmas. Wasn't no Christmas in the Caribbean before Columbus came. They was not celebrating no Christmas or Valentine's Day in the Caribbean. Why are they celebrating Valentine's Day in Jamaica? Why are they celebrating holidays in Central America? In Mexico, what are they doing with a big Jesus statue in South America if they got their own land and that Jesus don't look like he's from Brazil? Because they don't run that shit. They've got overtaken just like we did right here in America. It's no different.
And be partakers of their sacrifices. Verse 9. And whoso will not condemn themselves to be the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death.
Right. And they say who should not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles. Who should not conform, who should not want to be like us. You hear me? Who don't want to be like us? What black, Hispanic, or Native Indian don't want to be like the white people? You're going to be put to death. This is what they said. This is in the Bible. They say who don't conform to the manners of the Gentiles will be put to death. You don't want to eat pork, you're getting put to death. You don't want to eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, you're getting put to death. You don't want to celebrate holidays, you're getting put to death. And of course, now, because America is such a democracy, it's spiritual. You feel me? They ain't gonna physically do it like they did back during slavery time. Now we got camera phones and HR and all this stuff. So nowadays, they're just gonna take your job away. They're gonna take away your children. They're gonna turn your woman against you. Stuff like that. You don't want to follow, you don't want to celebrate Christmas, Valentine's Day, all your woman's leaving you. You don't want to conform to our ways, the bitch gone. Your kids, oh, they don't like you because you don't bring no gifts on Christmas. Like real talk.
There might a man have seen the present misery.
Right. And you see it. You see the present misery. You seeing the Israelites, you feel me, that's being put to death because they don't want to conform with society. You seeing how hard their lives are because they don't want to conform with society, and that's going to build weak men. There's going to be a lot of weak men and women and children that see like, nah, I'm going to just do what America say to do. I'm going to just be like how the white man want me to be because I don't want to be put to death. You feel me? I don't want my whole life destroyed because I chose the truth. Like real talk. All right, so you could drop that. And you can go to Jeremiah 20 and 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 20 and verse 14. Cursed be the day within I was born.
Right. And that's what Jeremiah said. Jeremiah didn't say happy birthday. I can't wait till my 50th birthday. You know how stupid that sounds? You a grown-ass man or woman talking about you about to be 50 next month. It's a lot. It's a lot, yeah, man. That don't even make sense. But Jeremiah was hardcore. You feel me? Jeremiah was hardcore. And he said, man, curse the day I was born. You feel me? Curse the day I was born. You know why? Because Jeremiah, he prophesied about the fall of Babylon. But also about the destruction of our people, you feel me, that was wicked. You feel me? And Jeremiah loved his people and he hated to see it. He hated to see the destruction that was coming to the wicked leaders and the men that followed them. Like real talk.
But not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed.
Right. He wishing that she had a miscarriage. Jeremiah is saying, he not saying happy birthday. He's saying he wish his mama had a miscarriage. You feel me? Because of the state of his people. He was born and came out and seen crack, heroin, whores, strippers, LGBT, women looking like men, men looking like women. You feel me? He came out seeing oppression. He like, damn, what was the point? I'm born into this for what? The hell was I born into this for?
Verse 15. Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying, a man child is born unto thee, making him very glad.
Right. So he's saying, curse the man that gave the news to my father, saying, you having a son. You feel me? Your son, you had a son. The baby is here, and it's a boy. He said, cursed be the man that gave the news. Like real talk. Because he's saying is nothing good happened. I was born into wickedness. You feel me? I was born into a slavery. Like your birthday is not nothing to be celebrated. You was born into poverty. You ain't even got nothing to celebrate. The fact you turned 1, you turned 2, you grew on some teeth. You turned 13, you can throw the football. Man, are you fucking kidding me? We was born into poverty and oppression, man. You feel me? George Washington was born into a country that was his. And he didn't even want to celebrate his birthday. Tell me something about that.
Right.
George Washington was born into a country that's his. Well, he a first-class citizen, and he didn't even want to celebrate his birthday. But you coming out a goddamn slave, and all you worried about is a cake and ice cream. My man, stop it.
Verse 16. And let that man be as the city which the Lord overthrew, and repent not, and
Right.
let him hear it.
Right. So he's saying that the man that gave the news, Jeremiah, he's so mad at the dude that told his father, you having a son. He said, let them be as the cities that got destroyed. All the cities that got destroyed, let them be like that. Let them be destroyed. He's bringing the news. This is what he's saying, because this is serious, man. This is serious. George Washington being born was, I ain't gonna even say George Washington. Every white man and woman being born is the worst thing that ever happened to this planet. You feel me? Some people should have just never been born. And that's just the truth. Some people should have never been born. And it's a whole race of people that should have never been born. Because all they did was rape, rob, and murder. All they did was come up with more tactics to try to oppress and destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians every day. Every day they coming up with different stuff to destroy us. Some people should just have never been born. Like, real talk.
And let him hear the cry in the morning, and the shouting at noontide.
Right. You keep on.
Because he slew me not from the womb, or that my mother might.
Right. So he's saying, because the guy that delivered the baby, he's mad that he didn't kill him in the womb. Like, real talk. And of course, this is just him just showing his deep gratitude that he got for his people and seeing the state we in. That he just wish he never seen it. Because him knowing, Jeremiah knowing the scriptures, knowing that we supposed to be in rulership, this is evil, what he's saying. He's seeing the Babylonians ruling over us. Just like we seeing the Americans ruling over us. What they doing to the Mexicans on the border. You feel me? What they did to the Haitians when they was under the bridge trying to stay warm. And the brothers from Texas had to go down there, risk their life to get them all that food and clothes. Like, real talk. This is what he's saying. He's seeing poverty. He's seeing so much poverty that he just wish he was never even born. But he had to be born because he had to go raise up his people. Just like everybody, every brother and sister in ISUPK. You feel me? Every last one of us was brought here by the Lord to raise up our people. No matter how bad we see life, especially when you know the truth, we was all here for a purpose. You feel me? Like, real talk.
Or that my mother might have been my grave, and her womb to be always great with me.
Right. So he just wish he died in the womb. He wish her stomach was her graveyard. Her stomach was where, his burying place, because the oppression that he's seen from his people. Because, like I said, just the times we living in was the same times he was living in, and we just was under great destruction. Like, real talk.
Verse 18. Therefore came I forth out the womb to see labor and sorrow.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying ain't nothing good about no birthday. Ain't nothing good about. I came out the womb to see labor and sorrow. I didn't come out to see us walking on streets of gold. You feel me? You got 10 virgins you married to, like Christ was talking about. That ain't what he came out. He came out to seeing nothing but destruction. Baby mamas, baby daddies, badass kids. You feel me? Educational system poor, piss poor. That's what he came out and seen. He said he came out and seen labor and sorrow.
That my days shall be consumed with shame.
Right, with shame. You feel me? And that's a lot of black people. That's a lot of us feel that way. We feel like is anything gonna come from this life but shame? I mean, damn, Sexy Red, Glorilla. You feel me? Papa Molly, I'm sweating. Like, damn, that's all we good for?
Right.
It's a good time. That's all we here for is a good time, not a long time, huh? It's like Drake said that. Drake said that. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Hell no. Yeah, we could drop that. Let's go into the Apocrypha. Go to Ecclesiasticus 29 and 24.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29 and verse 24. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house.
Right, and that's a fact. And that's what we do. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, I mean, you tell me, give me 10 black people, you're going to give me 10 different religions. And they're going to switch it. Within like 3-4 years, they're going to switch it. You feel me? But it's a miserable life to go from house to house. You feel me? From slave master to slave master. Because that's all you're doing. You pick a different religion, you're just picking a different slave master. A different place to call home. You feel me? That's all you're doing. And that's a miserable life to do that. To have to do that. And we had to do that because we won't stick with the one true living God. We won't stick with him. You feel me? We keep creating idols. You feel me? When God said, have no other God before me, we didn't never do that. I don't know if people know it or not. We never did it. We never did it. We picked new gods left and right. I think we started serving another God right when Moses was gone too long. He left and went up on a mountain. We started taking gold earrings and rings and chains and turned it into a statue. Like real talk. We've never done that. And we've been miserable ever since. We've been miserable.
For where thou art a stranger.
Right. And that's a fact. That's a fact. We're a stranger. And these different religions, we strangers. Because who's the dominant race in Islam? Muslims. Christianity, white people. You feel me? White people. You want to be Buddhist? But the Chinese got that on lock. You want to be a Scientologist now. I heard that's the new one. Well, you got to be rich. And most black people is not rich. You a stranger. In these different religions, these different places, these different houses, you want to run to different countries, you a stranger. And that's what thing you got to understand. You're a stranger, but you ain't a stranger in here. You feel me? You ain't a stranger in here because ain't nobody serving God. Ain't nobody doing what the Bible say to do but the ISUPK. So you won't be a stranger here. But everywhere else, are you a stranger? You're going to go there trying to fit in, you ain't going to fit in. You're going to be feeling weird and awkward, and you're going to be wondering why, not knowing, because you're a stranger there. You don't fit in there.
Thou dares not open that mouth.
And that's the biggest thing. You can't say nothing. You feel me? The biggest thing, you can't say nothing. You feel me? Because you was a slave. You was the bottom. How are you going to speak? You can't. That's why you don't have a voice. That's why we don't have a voice in America. You feel me? Chinese people got a voice because they ain't going from house to house. They living in America separate from America. All these different races of people, they live in America and they prospering because they not going from house to house. You feel me? They still keeping their customs. They just living in America. So why can't we do it? Why can't we just be Israelites living in America? Like real talk.
Verse 25. Thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks.
Right. And thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks. And that's a fact. We entertaining these people. You seen the halftime show. You feel me?
Right.
No, everybody seen the halftime show. They not like us. Feel me? Everybody debating on what it meant and you ain't woke. You ain't woke, nigga. You don't know Kendrick was saying that, man. Shut up. That's what we do. We entertain.
Right.
And we feast. We got the best food. We got the best food. We entertain, but we have no thanks. We get no thanks. You know why? Because we strangers here. We strangers here in these other people religions, these other people philosophies. You feel me? This is not what we do. That's why we don't fit in. The black people, we just don't get it. Like, damn, I'm a Christian. I went to college. I did everything right. But I still don't fit in corporate America. Because you're a stranger. You ain't getting no thanks. You can entertain, you can feast, but you ain't getting no thanks. Like real talk. You a stranger here.
Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words.
Nigger, whore, baby mama, wetback. That's what they're going to call you. You feel me? You done everything to fit in. Entertain, feast, join them. And that's what they still going to call you, a nigger. And you're going to wonder why. Because you're a stranger. You don't fit in here. You can do whatever they tell you to do. You can dress like them, look like them, take they women, the women taking they men. You can do whatever. You can take on the whole full spirit of the white man. And you still gonna get called a nigga. Real talk. All right, so yeah, we can drop that and go to Ecclesiasticus 33 and 13.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 33 and verse 13. As the city, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion. It's at his pleasure. So man is in the hand of him that made him.
Right. So that's just talking about how the Lord, he made all of the people. He's the potter. And he made us at his pleasure. You feel me? He made black people like this. He made white people like that. He made Chinese people like this. He made Japanese people like that. Made Africans like this. Made East Indians like that. This is the Lord did this because he's the potter. The potter is somebody, I don't know if you know it or not. They make different stuff out of clay. It's just giving a metaphor. You go ahead. We're going all the way to 17.
To render to them as liking him best.
Right.
Good is set against evil, and life against death.
Right, and that's what you got to understand. You got to understand that good is set against evil, and life against death. It's either one or the other. And you gotta make that decision one day. You feel me? You got to make that decision one day. Is what I'm doing good or is what I'm doing evil? Is what I'm doing going to bring life or is it going to bring death? Because it's only one or the other. Good is set against evil. Black and white. One of us is good and one of us is evil. That's why they got the dog test, where they do the test to see what the child like. The white child say the white baby is good, the black one's evil. The black baby say the white one's good, the black one evil. You feel me? Because you're getting trained since your youth to hate yourself and love them. You feel me? Because good is set against evil and life against death. That's how the Lord made it. That's how he set it up. Like real talk. You celebrate these holidays, you got to tell yourself one day, is this stuff good or is it evil? Is it bringing life or death? You can't say it's in between. Or what's the one they say about the kids? We just do it for the kids. We know this stuff ain't real. We're just doing it for family. We just doing it. I just want some food. I just want some good food. I only came for the food. Nigga, nah, ain't no gray area with the Lord. Ain't no in between with the Lord. It's good and it's evil. It's life and it's death. And you take your pick. And we already talked about how he'll chase you through the third and fourth generation. He'll destroy your children's children looking for you. You feel me? Your children's children will suffer because of you, because of one decision you made. Like real talk.
So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly?
Right. So it's somebody's good and somebody's bad. That's just how it go. You feel me? The people telling you to not do what God say, obviously, is the sinners. And they trying to turn you into a sinner because the godly is against the sinner. So they seen that you was doing the right thing. They seen that you was a good person, and they're trying to turn you evil. And there's people like that every day. Like we like to call them vampires. You hear me?
Right.
They've been bitten, and now they trying to turn you. Your job is to not let them turn you evil. You godly. You got your innocence. They trying to take it from you. You hear me? Men and women. This ain't just a woman thing. This men and women. They trying to take your innocence. You hear me? They trying to turn you evil and wicked. Because the godly is set against the sinner. And the sinner against the God. That's how it go. That's the way the Lord set it up. Remember, let's start there. Let's start where we started from. How the Lord is the potter. He did this. He set this up like this. You hear me? It's going to be people that's going to be trying to turn you evil. Your job is to not let them. They're going to try to turn you against God with smooth words or your pride. You know, a lot of people is prideful.
Right.
You hear me? A lot of people is prideful. They're going to tell you, oh, you doing that? Oh, you must be doing that because of a nigga. You must be doing that because of a bitch. You must be doing that because of this. You must be doing that because you bored. Or this, all type of stuff. Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Kentucky, one of my homies in the world, he said that to me. He said, damn, what you say you went, okay, that's cool. He said, damn, what you just ain't got nothing to do down there? I'm like, nigga. Man, that shit was so funny because he just couldn't believe it. He like, nigga, you just moved down there. Like, damn, what happened? I'm like, nigga, this has been going on. Like, you hear me? Like, real talk. I had to get away from Chicago.
Right.
Because like I said, the godly is against the sinner and the sinner against the godly. Like, real talk.
Right. Verse 15. So look upon all the works of the Most High. And there are two and two, one against another.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So everything is against each other. You hear me? The good is against the bad is against the good. It ain't no gray area. You hear me? People every day, and it's usually your loved ones, people that's close to you, because of course, I hope ain't nobody that you just met turning you like that. You hear me? I hope it ain't somebody you just meet at the grocery store is turning you against God. You hear me? Or turning you evil. That I would pray that you ain't that stupid. But the Bible say the one against the other, which is talking about the good and the bad. The good and the bad, like real talk.
Verse 16. I'll waken up last of all, as one that gathered after the great gatherers.
Right, and that's so heavy. So they saying like, so after all that, after the good and the evil, now I wake up. You hear me? And that's just like us in ISUPK. You hear me? After all the good, the evil, and all the stuff that's happened, and now we pop up. You hear me? We pop up like a somebody that's gathering grapes after the people that picked it. You hear me? Because you know what you understand about in the Bible, we got laws that people that got fruit and vegetables is you can't pick it all. You got to leave some for the poor. You hear me? You got to leave some for the poor to go get some. And that's what he's saying. He coming last.
By the blessings of the Lord, I profit.
Right. And that's a fact. Because he's not the gate gatherer. He came at the end. You feel me? He came at the end. Like we not rich like TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar. You hear me? What's dude name? I can't think his name. Chicago, the Muslim dude. Nation of Islam. Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
We ain't got a mega church. We coming after they done already just came through. After the Christians, the Muslims, all of the big money preachers and all that, they done came through with their Rolls Royces. Then we came. We came after that to pick up what was left. You feel me? The people that they couldn't get. You feel me? They didn't got all of the Uncle Toms and all the people with money and the people that's left. Now we come. We come and get them.
And tread my wine press like a gather of grapes.
Right. And what he doing, he say he treading his wine press. Treading the wine press is what they used to do back then. They would have the grapes in the wine press and they would step on it. And the juice would go into a separate box so they can try to get the wine prepared. You feel me? So what he's saying, he working. He said what he was blessed with, he's working that. The fruit he was blessed with, he's working that. You feel me? Like real talk.
Verse 17, consider that I labored, not myself only, but for all them that seek learning.
Right, and that's the point. You feel me? The mega churches, the pastors, the scammers, the motivational speakers, the 7-stream, the income people, all the people that they couldn't get with swindle that's left over, we getting them and we working it. We working it. We working it. And we're not doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for them. Because they seeking the truth too. There's gonna be people that they ain't really with all that other shit. These TD Jakes and Christianity and Muslim shit. You feel me? They seeking the truth. And when we find them, we gotta work them. You feel me? We gotta work them. We gotta make sure we doing this because it ain't for us, it's for them. Like real talk. That's why we gotta teach these classes. We gotta do podcasts. We gotta get on other people's podcasts, get on radio shows, go out in the street when we could, weather permitting, Lord willing. You feel me? That's why we gotta do that stuff because there's people out here that the mega churches and the rich people didn't get. They didn't swindle them. And they sitting here just waiting for the truth.
Right.
Like real talk. So yeah, we can drop that. You can go to Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 4. It's in the Apocrypha.
Yeah. 2 and 4. Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 4. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud.
Right. So, and this is talking about the wicked. This is what's gonna happen. This is why Esau's kingdom is always so short. You hear me? Like you think about the Greeks, the Romans, America is only 250 some years old. All these kingdoms that they've ruled was for a short time. You feel me? Because they was wicked. They was wicked and they knew the Lord was against evil. They knew it. They knew the Lord is against this. So if the Lord is against this, surely our kingdom is going to fall. That's why they did the Mount Rushmore where they put their faces on a rock thinking that this gonna be the one that the Lord can't bring down. And it's coming down. That's all I'm gonna say. It's coming.
And shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof.
Right. So this is just talking about how they know that in a minute they're gonna be in the history books, just like the Romans and the Greeks is, just like the Egyptians is. They're gonna be in the history books, and they're gonna be nothing. People gonna forget them. You feel me? People gonna forget them. They're gonna be making movies about them, writing books about them. That's about it. But they're not gonna be standing. America is not gonna be standing. You feel me? That Mount Rushmore is coming down. The statues is coming down. These skyscrapers, all this stuff, the wisdom in this place is coming down to the ground. Like real talk.
Chapter 5. For our time is a very shadow that passed away.
Right, like a shadow. A shadow, one is there, you look up, it's gone, depending on where the sun is. You feel me? And that's how their kingdoms is gonna be. We feel like it's forever. We feel like it ain't gonna never end, but all this stuff is gonna go away.
And after our end, there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh against.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They going extinct. The so-called white man, he know it. He know it from his genes all being recessive. You feel me? He know from interracial dating. You feel me? From the abortion clinics, from the war on drugs. Well, I ain't gonna say the war on drugs. The opioid epidemic, which is really just the war on drugs in a cleaned up version. You feel me? They're gonna be going away like a shadow, and they not coming back. It's not happening. They're not coming back.
Verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present.
Right, let's get on these yachts. Let's get on these boats. Let's get in these helicopters. Let's fly these planes. Let's get in these planes, even though they fall and crashing every day. Every day it's a new plane crash somewhere. But you don't believe it's a God. You believe in man. You a goddamn idiot. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think I said that enough tonight. You're a goddamn idiot.
And let us speedily use the creation like as in youth.
Right. And let's speedily use the creatures like as in the youth. Like they using everything up. You feel me? Everything is getting used up. The animals, the people, everything is getting used up. Because they're trying to enjoy themselves for this short time they got.
Verse 7. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ornaments.
Right. Alcoholics, drunks. You feel me? Rockstar lifestyle might don't make it. You feel me? That's them. Party animals. That's them. What they say, Vegas it don't sleep. The city that don't sleep. New York, city that don't sleep.
Right.
You feel me? They partying all night. This is their culture. Because they know they only got a short time. Real talk. They gotta do this.
And let no flower of the spring pass by us.
Right. And let no flower of the spring pass by. You feel me? They ain't missing nothing. You feel me? They taking everything. They absorbing everything. You feel me? All the oil, all the diamonds, all the gold. They taking everything. They not missing a flower of the spring ain't passing by them. You feel me? They taking everything.
Verse 8. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered.
Right, before they be withered. You feel me? Let us crown ourselves before this stuff get old. You feel me? Let's ride in all the nice cars with all the fancy suits, the nice jewelry. Let's crown ourselves before this stuff get old, before this stuff get played out, before this stuff get out of style. Like real talk. So yeah, you can drop that, and you can go to Second Esdras. You can stay in Apocrypha for Second Esdras 2 and 27.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 27. Be not worried, for when the day of trouble in the heavens comes, others shall
Hold on.
weep.
Salaka, let me get there with you, Salaka.
What?
Then you go ahead. You start from the top.
Stop us up. The book of Second Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 27. Be not worried, for when the day of trouble in the heavens cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful.
Right. So be not scared, feel me, when the day of trouble is coming. Because it's definitely coming. You feel me? Real talk. It's definitely coming, but it's coming for them. It's coming for the oppressor. You feel me? We are already suffering right now. They day of suffering is coming. But when they day of suffering coming, we can't be like how it was in slavery. You know, during slavery, we be like, you know, the master, he'll get sick. They'll be like, hey, boss, we sick? We sick? Nah, we ain't doing that this time. We ain't sick this time. You sick. You sick. That's on you. You feel me? Like real talk. We ain't being sorry this time. You feel me? When their kingdom is about to collapse.
But thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
Right. We is gonna prosper. Then we ain't gonna even worry with them. You feel me? Like real talk. We ain't gonna even worry with them. Whatever they going through, that's on them.
Verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do everything against thee. Nothing against thee.
Right. So the heathen shall envy thee. You feel me? You feel me? That's what you gotta understand. And that's the reason why they hate us. That's the reason why they force everything on us. That's the reason why they try to put us all in prison. That's the reason why they try to destroy our families. It's because they envy us. You don't understand that because you don't understand that good is set against evil. You don't understand why the life is the way it is when you wake up. Like Jeremiah said, he wished he was never born because he was born in a sorrow. Why was he born in a sorrow? Because the heathen envied us. They always have. And we ain't able to do nothing about it. We ain't able to do nothing about it.
Said the Lord. Verse 29. My hand shall cover thee, so thy children shall not see hell.
Right, but that's the thing about it though. With all the planes crashing, all the new diseases and viruses is out, the Lord say he gonna cover us. You feel me? At the end of the day, the Lord say he gonna cover us that our children see not hell, because hell is on earth.
All right.
Hell is not a place you go when you die. It's right here on earth. And the Lord, if we serving him, he's trying to make our children not see that. So we can break them generational curses that you caused, following the traditions of men. Real talk. All right, so you could drop that. You go to Isaiah 28 and 15.
So Isaiah 28 and 15. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
That's what happened. We made a covenant with death. How did we do that? How do we make a covenant with death? Who would even want to make a covenant with death? Only people that would want to make a covenant with death is somebody that didn't want to make a covenant with life. Only somebody that would want to make a covenant with evil is somebody that didn't want to make a covenant with good. That could only be talking about the Israelites, Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We made a covenant with death. When we chose to sin against the Lord, he said that he was going to send another nation upon us that wouldn't regard the old or the young. That was the covenant with death. When we chose to sin against God, we signed a covenant with death. Real talk.
And with hell, are we at agreement?
Right. And with hell, we are at agreement. We done made an agreement with hell. Like, that's why Jeremiah said he wished he was not born, because he was born into labor and in sorrow. Hell is a condition on earth. That happens right here. That's not somewhere you go when you die. Hell happens right here from disobeying the Lord. Real talk. And we made a covenant with death and an agreement with hell. We did that. You hear me? We did that. And we ain't breaking no generational curses, because we the goddamn curse to begin with. Every decision we make every day, it affects our children's children. Because the Lord said he coming after us through the third and fourth generation. Every decision we make every day is affecting us. You sitting here wondering why you living in poverty, why you going through this. It was your fault. It ain't, you can't even blame your mama. Don't blame your mama. Don't blame your granny. It's your fault. Because the Lord said he coming for you through the third or fourth generation. He's going to destroy you because of you, what you did. So it starts with you to stop the covenant with death. The covenant we got with death, it starts with us to stop it. Right here, right now. We got to stop it right here, right now. Or you're going to be born into a situation to where you're going to wish you just never was born. That's all that's going to happen.
With the overflow of scores shall pass through. It shall not come unto us, for we have made lies a refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
Right, and that's a fact. That's what we did. You hear me? Under falsehood, we hid ourselves, like real talk. But the whole point of this is what I'm saying is we made a covenant with death and an agreement with hell. That's what we did. That's what we did, and that's how we ended up in the situation we in. And we need to get that covenant back with the Lord that Christ died for. Christ died so we can get back to the covenant with the Lord, which is life. You hear me? Because we signed a covenant of death. All right, last scripture.
So like you say, you was in the matrix. What you say?
The last scripture. Let's go to 1 Samuel 15 and 22.
1 Samuel 15 and 22.
Yeah, we ended with that.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 22. And Samuel said, "Have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord."
Right. So Samuel saying, so have the Lord have great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, or obeying the Lord? Burnt offerings, sacrifices. Burnt offerings, sacrifices, or obeying the Lord? Obeying the Lord. Which one is better? Because the people didn't know, obviously. Just like right now, people don't understand. Right now, people thinking saying sorry to God and going to church is supposed to be your sacrifice. Going to church on Easter Sunday is your sacrifice. Sending your kids to a Catholic school is your sacrifice. Going to college to get a degree and destroying your marriage is supposed to be your sacrifice. You sacrifice building a family so you can go to college and become a damn CNA, wiping people's butts. Okay, whatever. Your career was that important, I guess.
Right.
But which one is better? Offerings, sacrifices, or obeying the Lord? You go ahead.
Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice.
To what?
To obey is better than sacrifice.
And that's one thing we got to remember. That's what we got to remember. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, obeying the Lord is better than sacrifice. You feel me? All the sorries and apologies. Why keep doing something you're going to say sorry for anyway? You hear me? That's one thing that I never understood about people in the first place. Why keep doing stuff you're just going to say sorry for anyway? You know you're going to apologize for it. And that's what the Lord is not understanding. The Lord is saying obeying is better than sacrifice. You feel me? Real talk. But that's in this nice class. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday. Tune in Wednesday night for the podcast. You feel me? Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat Thumb, Yahweh Shema Thumb.